Yay, we're live. I'm super happy to share with you guys that we have the whiteboard. I've been really wanting to get this whiteboard because I always feel like during a lot of the consults, when I'm working with some of my patients, I tend to draw out a lot of things. And I figured it'd be a little bit more supportive and helpful to draw some concepts on the whiteboard because there are so many things that people are a little bit misled by that a picture can sum up. Pictures make it a little bit more clear, a little bit more, I would say easy to follow, especially if you're a more visual person. So I got the whiteboard. I'm excited to actually draw something that is really popular but gets a lot of confusion. And one of the things I tend to find on intake forms when I ask, how did you hear about me? Or when I ask questions like, for example, what medications are you on the intake form, I always try to get a little bit more information about the patient so I can really be understanding all the factors of their lifestyle and all the things. But something I notice for a lot of people when they're on the platform filling out the intake form is they'll write things like this. Synthroid for my Hashimoto's, levothyroxine for my autoimmune thyroid condition. And one of the things I know when they write that is that they don't realize that those medications are not actually working on the autoimmune part. They're only working on the hormonal part. And people say, wait, what? Like, what do you mean by that? And I want to draw it out because I do think if you guys see it, it helps to explain it a little bit more in depth because taking thyroid medication, it's true that it will help you if you need hormones, but it won't stop the reason that your hormones might be low in the first place. If you have hypothyroid that's induced from Hashimoto's, the strategy that would be supportive to also partake in is not just giving the person T3, T4, or a derivative or combination of the hormones, but to actually look at why did those hormones drop down in the first place. Traditionally speaking, autoimmune attack is the culprit or causative agent behind why hormones would be low. I don't have too much time today. I do have someone coming in not too long from now, but I figured I have a couple minutes before I get started. So I wanted to draw the difference out now that we have the whiteboard, okay? Because it'll make a lot more sense to draw it. So let me know also if you guys can't hear me because I'm going to be kind of walking back and forth. I did pull this a little bit close. But if you can't hear me, somebody please let me know because I want to make sure you guys get all the content. So let's dive into thyroid health, Hashimoto's, hypothyroid, and kind of the basic stuff. All right, we can see just fine. Perfect. Okay, so here is our thyroid. That's the gland, a giant big butterfly gland. Oh no, the ring light's in the middle. Okay, well, ignore the ring light. That's the thyroid. Now, there's two things that you guys have to know. One thing is antibody production, okay? Antibodies, aka immune response. Okay, I'm gonna do this for a second. This is the Hashimoto part, meaning that there's attack at the gland. This is the Hashimoto part. Immune attack. That's the top part. The line is the Hashimoto part. The bottom part is the hormone part. And I'm actually going to do it in a different color to make it a little bit more visible. Hormones. Okay, the bottom part is the hormone part. Hormone, or I'll put we'll use hypothyroid. Okay, hypothyroid. So basically what's happening is that somebody can have option A, the top part, happening by itself, or they can have option B, bottom half of the picture by itself, or they can have a combination of both. So to make it a little bit more visible, this could be option A, where you're making an immune attack. That could be a real thing. Option B is you just have low thyroid hormone production without the top part, Or option C is you've got both things going on. Basically, what's happening in a nutshell is if you're only being treated for your autoimmune thyroid with your thyroid hormones, you haven't stopped the attack at the top part of the gland. And the top part of the gland is the attack part, right? That's the important part, is that if I'm attacking, over time I will drive down my hormones. So rather than me just take hormones that are supposed to help raise my levels, which they do, but rather than just take hormones, wouldn't it be a better strategy to figure out the attack part that's driving my hormones down? So that is a big factor, okay, is that the top part is the part that matters the most, because that means that your immune system is not working well. That means that something is triggering your immune system to attack the gland. Now, that something that could be the culprit is viral load, okay, traditionally Epstein-Barr virus. A lot of other viruses, though, that can cause this. Anything immune-wise, any type of immune stressor can actually cause the top part to happen. The bottom part, the hypothyroid part, so the bottom part where it's just this low thyroid hormone production, this is not immune. Well, it could be, I should say. It could be because the Hashimoto's, but it's often not immune. And basically, is if this is the only thing the doctor looks at, which is true, they only give you hormones, they don't even touch the top half. So the part that matters, though, is that inside the gland, if there is immune attack, what can end up happening is that there are nodules or growths. So attack, right? Running this top pathway too often, it does change the tissue structure and the tissue shape. So for example, a lot of people develop nodules or growths on the gland. And that's not a good thing, because the nodules and the growths can sometimes be cancerous. They might want to do fine needle biopsy aspiration. We don't like tissue growth on the gland, okay? And basically that matters because if you're working with someone who is not looking at the immune modulating factors that are causing their Hashimoto's, you are literally missing the picture. You're literally missing the picture. You're not getting the support that you need. You're not getting the right form of care. In fact, you're not even being treated or diagnosed appropriately. And it won't help you to just take hormones because you're having, I guess a really good analogy I describe is imagine this. Imagine that every night, a thief comes into your bedroom and steals your furniture. Your bed, your furniture, everything. They steal your furniture. And then you replace the furniture every night. So you're buying new furniture every single night to replace the furniture that's gone. Wouldn't it be better to, rather than replace the furniture, aka furniture represents hormones, replace hormones, wouldn't it be better to actually stop the intruder from coming in? That's what we're looking at, is what factors are driving the immune system to have dysfunction that are hurting the gland that could be causing the hormone production to be low. Or if it's just hypothyroidism minus the Hashimoto part, what other factors can cause, or what other things I should say could be supportive for you to take part in that will help you make more hormone. And traditionally speaking, both of these, regardless of if it's Hashimoto's, hypothyroid, or the combination, liver health is important, because what's not pictured in this picture is that the fact that your hormones and the conversion of your thyroid hormone happens inside your liver. Okay, so the production is in the thyroid. They get funneled, just like I make my cake out on my why am I having word distribution, weird things today? If I make my cake on my actual counter, it gets converted into an edible cake in the oven, right? I send my cake to the oven to be processed. That's true for your hormones. The production's in the gland, but the liver is an important factor too. So if someone's dealing with hypothyroidism, one of the things I would say before you do anything with hormones is, what is causing your levels to be low? Do you have poor liver health? Is there stagnation in the liver? And also iodine. In order to make thyroid hormone, we do need iodine, and it is the number one nutrient deficiency I see, even more than vitamin D. People are not as vitamin D as people would believe because they know about it. They've heard it on a podcast. They've seen it in a video. Most people have some knowledge, especially if they're in this field. They're like, I know vitamin D is good for me. I know it's great for me. Vitamin D is actually not the nutrient that's super common to be deficient in. Iodine is. 10 out of 10 women come through my doors with iodine deficiencies, and you actually require iodine to make thyroid hormone. It's called iodinization. It's a process where you need iodine to actually make the hormone, right? Like I need eggs, flour, sugar to make the cake. If I don't have those ingredients, I can't make the end product of the cake. Same thing for your hormones. You need iodine. And normally it should be in our soil. Unfortunately, our soil is very depleted. So nutrient depletions can cause issues with hormone production. So if someone's saying I have hypothyroidism, what are some things I should be doing? Definitely making sure your iodine levels are high enough. It's a very common nutrient deficiency. It's not in our soil. The only other place that we traditionally find it from is like ocean vegetables, like sea vegetables, like wakame, dulse, kelp. Sometimes I do recommend a couple things like that to add to the diet. If you're using pink salt or Celtic salt, there's no iodine in it. It's a non-iodized version of salt. You need iodine to create thyroid hormone, okay? So that's a factor that plays a role in the picture. The immune part, the Hashimoto's part, is definitely something that needs to be addressed as well. What's driving the immune system stress? What's causing my body to attack the gland? Traditionally speaking, there are viral particles in here. Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, EBV, viral particles can get stuck and trapped in that gland and cause issues. And a lot of people are like, wait, I've had EBV. Okay, it's the virus that causes mononucleosis. Most of us have had it. It's very common to have had this virus, but everyone's reaction to it could be different. Okay, kind of like C19, right? Everybody had that. It's not a matter of if, it was a matter of when. Everybody's been exposed. Not everybody dealt with it the same way. Some people are struggling and suffering immensely because of it. Some people are like, I had no clue I had it. I just moved on with my life. So viruses, especially that virus, loves to go to the thyroid. Viruses like to pick organs, right? Like C19 was respiratory. Okay, claim to fame was lung. It loved respiratory. HPV, right? Women get screened for human papillomavirus, loves the cervix. Viruses love organs. EBV loves thyroid. That's just how it works. So sometimes if someone has a reactivated EBV infection, we can test that through blood. There's a blood test through IgM and IgG antibody testing for both nuclear capsid, early antigens, all the specific tests for that. That's important to know because that could be causing issues, infections from tick bites. A lot of people are walking around with Hashimoto's and don't realize that at one point they've been bit by a tick. It changed how their immune system functioned. They had no idea. And that was one of the things that caused issues for their body and their immune system. So any stressor to the immune system, stealth infection, mycotoxin, mold, metals, environmental toxins, all that stuff can affect how your thyroid is, or I should say how your immune system is working. Okay, so I just want to kind of share that. I hope I'm going to figure out, today is my first day with the whiteboard. I literally just got it and I was so excited to use it, but I will figure out a better way to not have the ring light like on the board. That way we could take a look and like actually view everything, because I would imagine this is a little bit distracting to see a giant ring light in the middle, but we will basically kind of review a lot more concepts very similar to this. And basically, if you're just taking hormones for your Hashimoto's, you're not doing anything to the antibodies. You're not doing anything for your immune system. You're really not doing anything because you're only looking at 50% of the picture. Okay, so just wanted to share that little tidbit, and hopefully that helps someone, because there are so many people that believe they're being treated and they think that taking thyroid medication is actually helping their thyroid. And the trend, and you can ask anybody this, when you ask, so tell me about your journey with being on thyroid medication, they'll say, I've gone up in dose. That's the trend. I guarantee it. They might have said, I started at maybe a lower dose and then I ended up going up. And then they're like, I also don't feel good. I feel like originally my medication helped me. It worked. Now it stopped working. And why is that? It's probably because now you've gone as far as you can with just hormone synthesis. You've taken synthetic hormones and you're maxed out. There's not a higher dose to go to. Now the body is still trying to communicate to you that it's still not in a good spot because you haven't addressed the immune modulation component. And of course, whenever we're working with immunity, we have to look at gut health, because obviously your digestive system has a gut-associated lymphatic tissue. There's a lot of microbiome critters that create or don't create good, healthy immune systems. Genetic factors, environmental toxins, stealth infections, microbes, environmental things, we said that, right? A lot of things can affect the immunity. So that is a really big and important differentiation between the two conditions. And like I said, my reason for bringing this up is because a lot of patients on their intake form will put taking Synthroid for Hashimoto's. And in my brain, I'm thinking they have no idea that that Synthroid is not really helping their immune part. It's not helping the immune part. It's helping the hormone part. But the hormone part's probably deficient in the first place because of the immune part, right? Like step 2 on this whiteboard is probably happening because step 1 might not be there. You can have both A, B, or C. Okay, you can have one by itself, Hashimoto's, hypothyroid by itself, and then you can have a combination. I actually just thought of a different way to draw this as well, but we'll dive into that maybe next time. But while you guys are on here, do we have any questions just about this topic of thyroid issues, hypothyroidism, autoimmune thyroiditis? We won't really talk too much about Graves because that's a little bit of a different mechanism. I won't even really talk too much about pituitary gland tumors either because that's a little bit different of a mechanism, very rare. Not that Graves is super rare, it's actually more rare than people think, but the pituitary part of this is the releasing hormone factor, right? Like thyroid releasing hormone, not thyroid stimulating hormone. So not a TSH, a TRH. Those are factors that we would look at, but that's really a little bit more advanced. If someone thinks something's not adding up with the endocrine system, maybe they would do some type of scan to make sure that that's an important factor to rule out, like the pituitary gland, okay, gland in the brain. But other than that, it's really important to be diagnosed appropriately so you can get the right treatment. And another one that I also think is really goofy is when people say, oh, I go to my endocrinologist to treat my Hashimoto's. Not sure what kind of treatment's going on there because all they're doing is giving you thyroid hormones. It's not a treatment, okay? It's not a treatment plan. So anyways, I hope this helped. If you guys have questions, actually, I'll leave a couple minutes for questions. Like I said, I will set this up better in the future. I was just really excited to get the whiteboard and I had a few minutes, so I figured, why not? Come on. For those joining, we're talking about the difference between hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, or also the combination of the two. They could be separate entities in and of themselves, or they can be very similar. But do we have any questions while we're just on here chatting? This was our whiteboard drawing. We have immune. Okay, let me get these out of the way. Immune part. Hashimoto's, attack, immune. And then we have low hormone production. Okay. Option A, option B, or the combination of the two. Hypothyroid could be because of the attack. It could also be nothing to do with the attack. What's driving the immune? What's driving? Antibodies are part of the immune system. Why am I making antibodies? Why am I making an immune attack to this? We'll put virus, mold, toxins. We'll put bacterial infections because that could cause things like Lyme. These are all the things to look at outside of just, do I need medication for my thyroid? Okay, so like I said, we'll make it a little bit better next time. But any questions while we're here, guys? Otherwise, if not, I will see you in the next video. Next video's topic is hormones. Progesterone, estrogen, all the things that come with healthy hormones, the importance of healthy hormones on cardiac health, on cognition, on clarity, on brain fog, all that stuff. So that's up next. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.